Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So AIO did it. They took one of my favorite guitars, and actually this is my favorite LP style guitar, and they put one of my favorite features on it and made it even better. Here it is, look at this. The AIO WLP, now available with a Floyd Rose bridge. And this is of course in the red burst finish. Such a beautiful finish. Especially with the abalone inlays. They even did the logos in abalone, and yeah, the red burst finish with the black hardware, just an absolutely beautiful guitar. Of course, a nice transparent finish on the back of the guitar. Now, if you guys have checked out my coverage of these guitars from past videos, because I've been talking about this stuff for a long time, the WLP model that they have, it comes in a really wide variety of colors, and they all look really, really nice. I've checked out maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 different colors over the years as they've made little tweaks and modifications to the design. But now the new one with the Floyd Rose bridge, they're doing it in the red burst and the black burst, which looks really nice too. So it's a black burst, you know, a black flame top, maple flame top, but again with the black hardware. It's a very sinister looking guitar, great for us metalheads. Now, I'll go over the specs real quick, and of course we have to talk about the price, and then also talk about how this guitar compares to other guitars that are on the market, and of course we'll do a playing demo so you can hear all the sounds and everything. But real quick, this is of course an LP style guitar, a single cut guitar. It's a mahogany body with a mahogany neck, nice classic set neck joint there. It's a transparent finish all over the guitar with of course this red flame burst top here. Now it's got the Floyd Rose special bridge, but more on that in a second because there's a couple different versions of this guitar depending on the exact bridge you want. The other thing is that this guitar has a nice upgrade from some of the previous ones in that it has coil splitting on both of these humbucker pickups, so you can get some nice single coil-esque sounds out of these pickups. Of course, it's got 22 frets with an ebony fretboard and Grover tuners on this one. Now, price-wise, here's where the real fun begins. If you look at the basic standard version of this guitar without the Floyd Rose, just the traditional like stop tail piece, those go for $489. And of course, you can see those on the AIO All-in-One Guitars website. And those have been around for years and they're super popular. People love them. This one here with the Floyd Rose special bridge is a little bit of a bump up in price. $549. I should mention, if you're in the continental US, I believe they have free shipping on all this stuff. So $549 for this guitar right here. And then they have the deluxe version, which has a Floyd Rose 1000 series instead of the Floyd Rose Special. That one is $100 more, $649. Okay, there's some other stuff I want to talk about. I also want to talk a little bit about the other non-Floyd models because I was just out at the AIO shop, actually just when I picked up this guitar, and they've got some really cool stuff out there. But we'll get into that after the demo. Let's go ahead and plug this in and listen to how it sounds. Now I'm going to use my Boss IR200 amp and cabinet simulator for the demo. That's about a $400 piece of equipment. So everything you're going to be hearing in the video is this guitar plugged into that unit and then recorded direct. So I'm not using thousands of dollars of expensive studio gear to make this guitar sound better than it is or anything like that. Anyway guys, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new affordable guitars and also staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's plug this in and listen to how it sounds. Okay guys, so let's talk about this. So to answer, I'm sure, the first question that everybody has, yes, the bridge stays in tune. This guitar has rock solid tuning stability. Now there are two big reasons for that. One is that they've just really selected the components very well for this guitar, and the guitar is really well made. The other big part of that is the setup that's been done on this guitar. So you don't have any weird like nut height or something where when you clamp it down it changes the angle of the string. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. And the bridge is just set up really perfectly, just level here, so it's not leaning forward or leaning back or causing any weird geometry with the springs in the back of the body. The setup, in particular, the setup with the Floyd Rose bridge is really solid. And the other setup aspects of the guitar, in particular the fretwork on this guitar, is just second to none. That's the real meat and potatoes of AIO, right? That's their kind of secret sauce, is these guitars, when they're fresh out of the factory, they're pretty good, right? They've got good specs and good parts and that kind of stuff. But the extensive setup work that they do in the shop there after the guitars come out of the factory, that's where they really transform these guitars into guitars that play just super well. And look guys, I always want to know what your experience is with this stuff down in the comments section below, so let me know. And if you are anything like the hundreds, literally hundreds of people who have contacted me over the years about these guitars, if you're anything like them, then you probably like the guitar as well. The other thing I should mention is the coil splitting on this guitar. It's these two knobs, the tone knobs. Obviously, you've got your two volumes and two tones over here. These two knobs, obviously, you just pull them up. You're splitting the coils, basically turning off half the pickup, so it goes from a humbucker to a single coil pickup. And if we're being totally honest here, they don't really sound exactly like a true traditional single coil pickup, but it's very, very close. And the big thing is there's a big difference between the humbucker sound and the coil split sound. It's a much, it's lower output, in some ways a little bit more articulate, and kind of more, bouncy and glassy. And it's always hard to describe this stuff with words, but between the two volumes, the three-way selector switch, and then the coil splitting, and you've got independent coil splitting on these pickups. Between all of that, you can create so many different sounds just from this one guitar, and what I would argue is a relatively simple pickup arrangement. Now we need to talk for a minute about this bridge and also the Floyd Rose Special bridge. When you're talking about Floyd Rose bridges, there's basically like 4 tiers, right? The low-end tier is what we used to think of as a licensed Floyd Rose back in the day, very generic stuff. And these days, you're getting Floyd Rose branded bridges, but they are kind of the bottom rung. So it'll say Floyd Rose, but it's not like Floyd Rose where it's stamped. The name is not stamped on the bridge. It's kind of like etched in. And these are the bridges that come on like the SBS guitars, or if you see a guitar like an entry-level Jackson guitar where it says like Jackson by Floyd Rose, again kind of etched onto the bridge, that's that kind of entry-level low end of the Floyd Rose bridges. This one here, the Floyd Rose Special, is the next step up from that. Now the Floyd Rose Special bridge, they've been around for a really, really long time, and it is a Floyd Rose bridge. It's just kind of the more affordable version of it. Now the next one up is the Floyd Rose 1000 series bridge. Those ones are, in theory, exactly the same as the OFR, the original Floyd Rose bridge. It's just where they're made is slightly different. And now the top tier is that OFR, the original Floyd Rose bridge. And there's just an interesting side note here. The OFR, for the longest time, was made in Germany, and just this year, in 2025, they changed the manufacturing to the USA. So the original Floyd Rose bridges are no longer made in Germany. Anyway, back to this bridge here. So this is the Floyd Rose Special, and what's interesting about this is the huge variety of guitars that this bridge comes on. And this one right here, obviously this guitar, priced at $549, has this bridge. I recently reviewed a Fender Player 2 modified Stratocaster. That guitar sells for like $1,200, and it has the same Floyd Rose Special bridge. Also, some of the Schecter, kind of the mid-range Schecters, have the Floyd Rose Special bridges. So it's a good bridge. It's not the best, but it's very good, and a lot of companies use it. And for a $549 guitar, especially with the Grover tuners and the ebony fretboard and the coil splitting and the other features that this guitar has, that's still a very, very good price for a guitar with that bridge. Now, the other thing, like I was mentioning earlier, and then I'll shut up about these different bridges here, but the Floyd Rose 1000 series, which comes on the deluxe version of this guitar, which is $649, that's the same bridge that you'll find on like the higher end Schecters or the Jackson Pro series. My whole point with that is if you are looking for a guitar that you can just buy off the shelf and it's like this, a Les Paul style guitar with a Floyd Rose bridge, these guitars are super competitive in their price range. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that when I picked up this guitar, I went out to the AIO shop in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, California, just northeast of Los Angeles. And I got this guitar, but I was also checking out the new stuff that's there at the shop. And they have done a really good job, I think, over the years of not resting on their laurels. Because I remember back in, what was it, like 2018 or something? I think it was the first WLP model that I checked out. It was already a really good guitar, but they have slowly incrementally made little upgrades to the guitars over the years, and they have only increased the price just a little bit. I want to say they were originally like $449, now they're $489, but that price difference is spread out over like 6 or 7 years, which is kind of amazing in today's economy, right? But anyway, my whole point with this is if you don't want one of these guitars with the Floyd Rose bridge, if you know, with the red burst and the black burst model, if you want something more traditional with a traditional bridge setup, they've got a huge variety of different colors to choose from over there. So I'll have a link to the website. You can look at all that stuff, all the different colors they have, the different options for the bridges, and they even have left-handed versions of the guitars available, because I know somebody's probably typing right now, what about us lefties? Well, they've got you covered. Also, I just want to hint at something that I saw at the shop that I know is coming down the pipeline. I don't want to say too much about it because these guitars are not really available yet, but there is a guitar which has a completely different body shape than this one that AIO is starting to make, and let's just say it's a very classic rock and roll design, and I think you're going to love it because I saw it and I thought it looked great and played great and everything. So I think when people see that, they'll be pretty excited. And I know it's something people have asked me about a lot over the years. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Sorry for the tease, but just be looking, maybe a couple months from now, be looking for another AIO video with a new guitar to check out. Okay, that's it. Okay guys, so look, the final word on this guitar is they have transformed a classic rock machine into a full-blown shred guitar, and I absolutely love it. So there we go, guys. Let me know what you think of this guitar down in the comments section below. Be sure to look for all the links I was talking about in the video, the different colors, the different bridges that are available for this guitar, all that stuff, and also links for my social media, my YouTube course, instructional videos. Everything will be down in the video description below. Guys, thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.